Hello and welcome to this masterclass called Midlife, the Gateway to Authenticity. I'm Swati Kameshwar, and in this video, I'm going to share with you why midlife is an opportune time to discover your unique gifts and life purpose that enables you to live an authentic and fulfilling life, and how you can accelerate your awakening during midlife in order to activate your authentic expression. So let's get started. You are in the right place if you are between the ages of 35 and 55 and are experiencing any of the following changes or transitions in your life, like midlife awakening. You're going through inner or outer change in your career, relationships, health, and you're wondering how to handle this change consciously and effectively. You are brilliant, driven, creative, and are longing for more authentic expression in your work. Maybe your career doesn't feel right anymore, even if you once found joy and success in it. Maybe you are experiencing career burnout and are tired of the rat race. And maybe you want to be seen and heard for your authentic self, your uniqueness. You may even feel that you're not living up to your potential, and you are wanting to awaken your creativity and creative expression. And finally, living your life purpose is becoming very important to you. You may even feel a sense of urgency about this. You find yourself working hard, but not finding satisfaction, and you want your work to have more meaning and purpose, but you don't know how to find it with all the roles you're already playing. So, this is what we are going to cover today. We will start by looking at why the midlife time period is an important gateway. What happens during the midlife years that creates a beautiful opportunity for awakening authenticity? Why many people very predictably experience challenges, which are often labeled as midlife crisis, which awaken a desire for meaning and purpose, and why it is a big deal how you deal with these challenges. Next, we will look at three assumptions that people make about midlife experiences that prevent them from seeing the gift in it. Then we will look at the three keys that can help you to navigate this time with intention so that you can uncover your authentic expression. And along the way, I will share with you some powerful but overlooked tools that many are not aware of that can help them to navigate this time of their life with intention and not be at the effect of change. Strategies for setting yourself up for joyful expression in the next phase of your life. And before we get started, I'd love to share with you why this topic of midlife being a gateway to a fulfilling life means so much to me by sharing some specific examples from my own background and story. So, a quick intro. I'm Swati Kameshwar. I'm a former engineer turned visionary coach, astrologer, and artist who guides women and men through the transformative years of midlife to connect to their authentic voice and set up the second chapter of their life for joyful expression. One thing that is unique about me is the way I combine astrology with transformational coaching techniques and intentional creativity to honor the sacred timings of midlife and to activate hidden gifts. My sessions, courses, and workshops enable you to step into your personal power and awaken unique brilliance and activate intentional creation of your life. My work is featured in the best selling book Sacred Self Everyday Rituals for the Modern Woman, Authority Magazine, and High Vibe TV. So, why am I so passionate about this topic? Astrology was not a subject that I consciously desired to learn about. My original career was engineering, and it was fulfilling to a point. But in my late 30s, I reached a stage where all of it felt empty, despite the success and accomplishments of a career that I had willingly chosen. I had everything I thought that I wanted. I had checked off many items on my life's to do list, but then these questions started to come up. Is this all there is to life? Why don't I feel alive and excited? Why do I feel so sad all the time, despite having everything I ever wanted? Do I even matter? If I were to die today, what would I regret? I knew deep down that I had a calling. I had felt that for years. I had felt that my true talents and potential were not coming through in the career that I had at the time, even though I had enjoyed it. And I could feel that career path coming to an end, but I didn't know what was next. And that fact was making me very sad and frankly a little worried. So I was sitting there feeling quite disillusioned, thinking, I know what success feels like. I know my own strengths. So why don't I feel satisfied with my accomplishments anymore? Why does it all feel mediocre, not original, like nothing special? Apart from my logical, intelligent, focused side that achieved goals and got things done, there was a deeply creative side that loved to play with paint, that loved to spend hours in nature, that loved to help people see things from a bigger perspective so that they could get unstuck. And that part of me craved to interact with people on a heart to heart level. That part of me was tired of the rat race and wanted to feel free to be who I really was at my core. Now looking back, I see that the Aquarius in me, which has the qualities of uniqueness, freedom, big picture thinking, helping others own their own uniqueness, was really wanting to come out. And I realized that the reason for this disillusionment was that I was not doing what was authentic to me. I was doing what I was supposed to, but not what I really wanted. But what did I really want? I didn't know at the time. And perhaps you can relate to all of this as well. And in fact, two questions kept coming up, and these were: what did my soul come here to do in this incarnation? And what if I reach the end of my life and I didn't do what I came here to do? And these two questions kept me up at night, especially the second one. What if I totally missed the point of this life, despite all the success and accomplishments? Finally, I hit a wall. I dropped down on my knees and I had a heart opening moment of deep humility and surrender, where I asked the universe for help. I still remember this moment and day very clearly. It was the 20th of March, 2015. I didn't know it then, but that day happened to be a potent sacred timing, not just collectively, but for me personally. And the impact of me asking for help, it changed my life, which is one of the reasons why I do this work. After that moment, many things came into my conscious awareness, one of which was astrology. I was 38 years old at the time, and I found out that, yes, I was bang in the middle of midlife planetary transits, often known as midlife crisis. Wait, what? Midlife crisis is just midlife planetary transits? Yes, and yet there's nothing just about midlife crisis. And we'll get more into that shortly. So, as I went through these planetary transits, these timings of our life that create periods of initiation, I learned how to work with them, why it was such an important time to get in alignment with soul purpose, and why our free will choice during this time matters a great deal. And so, to fast forward, during that phase, I went through a lot of personal and professional transformation, and I found my life purpose and my authentic voice. I have worked with every major transit in the past 8 years, and I'm very grateful for the gifts that I've received. Working consciously with the energy of sacred timings has been a hugely empowering gift in my life. It really does turbocharge your intentions for life. And that's what I love to do. I love to help people uncover the gifts of these sacred timings in their own lives, to cut through the confusion of midlife changes and to get to the brilliance within them, cut through all the falseness, and help you to uncover your unique expression so that you can live a life of aliveness and authenticity. That's really my mission. So, if you're here, you may feel that you have a deep calling and a gift to share. There is more to you than your current career or job, and you want to find out what that is. You want to go from mediocrity in your life and career to authenticity. We are entering the age of Aquarius where your uniqueness matters and is looking for expression. No longer will it be sufficient to just wake up and string along doing something that doesn't satisfy you deeply. And that's what this masterclass is about, to show you how this midlife phase is really a turning point, a checkpoint in your life. So, my question to you is this: what keeps you up at night? What is your version of the soul awakening questions I just shared? What has brought you here to this presentation? You are being asked to dig deep and find the gold within. What is true to you? And the soul speaks very loudly to us during the sacred timings of midlife. And are you listening? Pause and listen and do not run on default. And then set up the rest of your life based on what you find. What you learn here will impact you for life. So now let's talk about What is midlife crisis and why it is a big deal? One dictionary definition of midlife crisis is a period of emotional turmoil in middle age characterized especially by a strong desire for change. Another meaning in the dictionary is feelings of unhappiness, worry, and disappointment that some people experience at about 40 years old and that can sometimes lead them to make important changes in their life. So, those are some of the definitions you'll find, and they even have the age mentioned there. In other words, midlife phase can be marked by internal or external change in our lives. It tends to be a soul searching phase of life. We may experience changes in different aspects like career, health, relationships, and a sense of disillusionment even with success and what we have accomplished so far. Now, why is this important? It's because what we face during this time and how we respond to it affects other parts of our life. If unaddressed, it can affect our health, relationships, career, the very foundations of our life. And if we recognize the deeper meaning behind the challenges we face and learn how to work with them consciously rather than treating it like a crisis, this phase can be a catalyst for awakening. Now, let's talk about the three assumptions that people make about the challenges of midlife that can keep them stuck in the old expression and that can prevent them from utilizing this key gateway of life to find their authentic expression. So, these are default beliefs, and they are often untrue and outdated and will limit your growth. So, let's see what these three assumptions are that can keep you stuck in mediocrity and undermine the importance of this time. And we'll see how we can transform these beliefs into an expansive perspective that allows for growth of your new expression. The very first assumption is that midlife challenges are normal because everybody goes through it, so nothing special needs to be done. You may feel that you don't have the bandwidth or time to change anything, to do anything different, to explore what is authentic to you. You may take it for granted that everyone goes through midlife crisis, midlife challenges, so what's the big deal? Just suck it up and deal with it. Why is it so special? It may be easier also to blame any challenges on lack of luck or external situations or people. We may assume that life is meant to be this way. You may also feel that it's selfish to do anything different, especially if you have others to take care of in your life, like kids, spouse, parents, etc. And particularly for women, this is huge because they may have many roles and responsibilities and can often have a tough time receiving and taking care of themselves. The reason for this assumption often stems from a lack of awareness of the midlife timings. And midlife timings are one of the three keys that we're going to dive into shortly. And what they represent. These midlife timings, they represent both, they bring both challenges and gifts. And the fact is this, midlife is a major checkpoint in your life. So what you choose to do at this time sets you up for the next phase of your life. Recognizing that this is an important time to be paying attention to yourself is key to igniting the next level of your unique expression. So, holding a perspective that midlife is an opportune time to ignite your unique genius can shift your experiences of the challenges and provide solutions to help you move towards your gifts. Now, let's look at the second assumption, which is that you have to leave your current job to find your passion, and that is a scary thing. If you're already in a certain career or profession, you may feel that it's too much effort to leave that and find something else to do that is authentic to you. You may think, I spent all these years studying and getting a degree in this field, so I have to keep doing this job related to this area for the rest of my life. For example, if you're an engineer, you may feel that you're tied to that type of work. Or you think that I have to leave my job to find my passion, and that can be really scary. That is a fear I often faced in my own engineering career. It is easier to stay in the old path and not really take the time to explore a new path. There's a lot of fear of the unknown associated with this assumption. The other part of this assumption is that whatever passion you find, it needs to earn you money now. You may put so much pressure on yourself to find a monetarily viable passion that before you have even explored what is true for you and what is authentic to you, what really gets you excited, there's all this pressure for it to earn you money. And that dampens any enthusiasm towards exploring a new path. This is actually a really common assumption, and this fear of losing financial security can get in the way of even experimenting and exploring. But both of these are very limiting assumptions. Every day, I see talented people not having an outlet for their real potential because they are stuck in a job that they believe is the only thing they can do in life. And this affects how much engagement they bring into their work and how a lack of aliveness affects their life. Recognize that you living your passion now will have a positive impact on every area of your life. And you don't need to leave your job to do that. You can carve out the time to find out what is authentic to you. How do I do that, you ask? It really depends on how you use your life force energy. And that's the second of the three keys that I will touch on later. As an example, when I started on my transformational journey, I allowed myself to explore different topics that piqued my interest, giving myself permission to learn and grow through curiosity, play, and creativity without the pressure of getting it right or perfect. And I think in hindsight, this was really important because I really felt like I had nothing to lose if I allowed myself to explore without the pressure to make it go somewhere or to turn it into a new career. And that's how my interest in astrology, coaching, creativity, and sound medicine awakened. This in turn brought back enthusiasm that started to seep into other areas of my life. My relationship with my immediate family deepened, friendships became more meaningful, and I also felt more engaged in my career. The benefits showed up in all aspects of my life. So, holding the perspective that you finding and expressing your authentic voice now will have an exponential effect, positive effect on every area of your life, and that you don't need to leave your job to do that can be very freeing. All right, now let's talk about the third assumption, which is I can push this off till a later date when it's more convenient. Do you dream about when you'll retire so that you're finally living your passion? We often think, I'll deal with this after the kids go off to college, or when I retire, or the weekend, or when I'm on vacation. Playing waiting games, always pushing it off to some later stage in life or a later time in the future. Midlife crisis or midlife planetary transits come during midlife for a reason. Our soul means business and speaks very loudly to us during this time. Specifically, during midlife, there are transits that awaken totally new skills. And many people are not aware of this. So it makes sense to take advantage of this sacred timing. We are meant to wake up now and live our passion. I have a question here to those of you who are parents. If you don't live a passionate and authentic life, if the work that you do doesn't give you joy, if you feel unfulfilled in your profession or life because it's inauthentic to you, how are you going to guide your children to follow their passion? That was something very personal to me because I have two young kids. And can you imagine the difference between a parent who is fulfilled and enthusiastic guiding their child versus someone who hates their job doing so? Such a big difference in energy. I want to emphasize that your creative calling, your authentic expression, your life purpose, it's all related. And you don't need to wait till you retire or for your kids to grow up or go to college to express your authentic self. That creative part of you is a live energy. And if it's not expressed, it'll wither away. And over time, that lack of authentic expression leads to anxiety, depression, and morphs into all sorts of issues. I realize that the best gift I can give my children is my full authentic expression, not a half hearted expression that is being suppressed under a career that I have long outgrown. What if your current job or career is not the edge of growth for you? What if, because you're not fully expressing yourself, that part of you is fading away and leading to more unfulfillment? What if you're overcompensating or working too hard to fit in a model not designed for you? And what if you don't need to leave your job, but can find fulfillment in it just by giving your authentic self expression priority now and not years down the line? So I invite you to hold the perspective that becoming proactive about riding this midlife wave is key. It's a shame to waste the momentum of this energy. It's like having a summer outside with great weather, but sitting inside the house saying, I'll wait till next summer to enjoy this weather. So, the question to ask yourself, I have a few questions here for you, and these are questions you can journal on as well. The question to ask yourself would be, which of these assumptions are you believing in currently? Do you know in your heart you have potential that is not being currently expressed? And if so, how does it make you feel to think that you might still be in this place 5 years from now? If this question doesn't bring up any discomfort and you feel at peace, then that's great. You're exactly where you're meant to be. But if this question makes you feel uncomfortable, then you know deep down that there is something waiting to be awakened. And are you willing to bust through those false beliefs, move out of your comfort zone, and see what's on the other side? What are you facing in your life that you take for granted but have fallen into a default pattern of handling? What interest do you have that you keep putting off because you feel that it's not monetarily viable? What do you push off to the weekend or vacation or a later date into the future? And what if, instead of viewing discomfort as a challenge, you could learn how to turn it into a gift before it becomes a challenge? Now, let's talk about why that midlife crisis is so predictable. What are the sacred timings of the midlife planetary transits that create this predictability? So, there is a link between the symptoms of midlife crisis and the energy of midlife planetary transits. Transits refer to the movement of a planet through a particular zodiac sign, and when the position of the planet in the sky activates a certain part of your natal chart, you experience that as a call for change. And I call these as sacred timings. Now, there are a bunch of transits that are standard that every person going through midlife goes through that are related to the planets Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, Chiron, and Jupiter. Now, the exact age will vary from person to person depending on the date, time, and place of birth. These transits or sacred timings have challenges, they bring challenges as well as gifts, and they are meant to help us evolve and awaken higher expression through unfolding of energy in the DNA. They push us to look beyond surface level success, to see if we are in alignment with our purpose, and if we are not in alignment, that's when the disillusionment sets in. And based on your personal natal chart, there may be other transits that are activating it that may amplify the transformational effect of these generic midlife transits. And here are some of the transits related to these planets. The first one, let's talk about Pluto. This is about transforming fear into empowerment. The challenge is that there is a need to face our fears, our deepest fears of loss. And so this is a big energy to move through. Saturn is about stepping into our personal authority, developing maturity and mastery. Really about moving from following to leading through mastery. The challenge here is that we could face issues with external authority figures when we don't fully own our own authority. Neptune is all about our connection to the divine creator energy. The challenge here is that it could cause disillusionment with what we have created in our life thus far, especially ego-based success. Chiron is about stepping into our unique gifts, about transforming inadequacy to transform that into gifts that can help others. But the challenge here is that we do need to resolve the pain of the past and any feelings of an inadequacy in order to transform it into a gift. Uranus brings access to our unique genius and authentic skills and allows for accelerated awakening. But it can often work through unexpected events that may feel chaotic if we are not fully present. And finally, Jupiter is about connection to our higher self, our higher purpose. But it could easily expand a negative in our life if we focus on that. So the reason that midlife crisis or midlife challenges are predictable, or at least that many will experience it, some form of transition in their life during this time, is due to the predictability of these transits. Everyone will go through some form of it during their midlife years. We have the Pluto square and the Neptune square in our late 30s, then Uranus and Saturn oppositions in our early 40s, Uranus going over our Chiron at the same time. And that is why, if you understand their energy and the challenges that they may bring up, you can work with these transits, these sacred timings consciously to receive their gift. So, my question for you is this: what situations or relationships reflect these energies that we just talked about? Do you see any of these specific challenges related to the energies of these transits showing up in any area of your life currently? Now, remember, these are your opportunities. Transforming the challenges into the gift is how we move on to the next level of our expression. So, how are you currently handling these situations? And what gift do you see these challenges bringing for you?